Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so picture this. You've just signed the lease on the absolute perfect flat. You've spent the last, 3 weeks wrapping your favorite mugs in old newspaper, taping up an endless sea of cardboard boxes, hauling heavy furniture up the stairs, and finally, you hand over the keys to the old place. You wipe the sweat off your forehead, look around your new living room, and think, I'm done. I crossed the finish line. But actually, scratch that. You haven't. You're not even close. Because the physical move, that's really just a false finish line. The second you put down that last heavy box, the real marathon begins, this invisible, incredibly tedious administrative burden. Today, we're unpacking the absolute silent nightmare of moving a home within the UK, and more importantly, how a brilliant modern solution is literally eliminating it. We're pulling our insights today directly from data over at Saturn.io by Kakitsu Labs.
Okay, let's dive into this. The reality of moving in the UK really boils down to one staggering number, and that is 17. The average home move generates exactly 17 separate administrative tasks. Now, most of us only realize this after we've already moved in, right when our energy is pretty much at absolute zero. And we aren't just talking about, texting your friends your new postcode. No, we're talking about 17 distinct, absolutely mandatory updates across this highly fragmented system of providers that, let's be real, do not talk to each other at all.
So, what exactly makes up those 17 tasks? Well, it's a massive web across government, utilities, and financial services. We're talking the DVLA for your driving license and vehicle tax, HMRC, the NHS so you don't actually lose access to your local GP, the electoral register, and honestly, that is just the government side. Then you've got your water, broadband, gas, electricity, your bank accounts, your credit cards. Every single one of these institutions demands a totally separate, completely manual update. You got to dig up your logins, remember those ancient passwords, prove your identity again, and fill out the exact same forms, individually, for every single one.
Let's walk through how this agonizing grind actually plays out over time, because it's rough. Day 1, move-in day. You're completely exhausted. By day 7, you're desperately trying to transfer your utilities, which means sitting through average hold times of 34 minutes per provider. I mean, think about that. 34 minutes of terrible elevator music just to update one single utility bill. By day 14, if you haven't registered everything perfectly, council tax penalties start triggering. And by day 21, you've wasted an average of 14 total hours on moving admin. 14 hours! That's almost 2 full working days completely lost to filling out forms and waiting on hold over a 3-week period.
Now, when you force people to juggle 17 manual tasks over 3 weeks, all while they're literally just trying to unpack their lives, things are absolutely going to slip through the cracks. The sheer scale of this failure rate is wild. 6 in 10 UK movers miss at least one critical service notification during this chaos. 60%. That means only 40% actually manage to successfully notify everyone. Honestly, the human brain just isn't wired to track this many disconnected admin changes while completely stressed out by a physical move.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why getting this wrong is such a big deal. Slipping up isn't just about, a birthday card going to the wrong house. The legal and financial risks here are severe. Missing that DVLA update, that leaves you liable for a £1,000 fine. £1,000! That's a devastating, totally unbudgeted expense, especially right after paying a huge deposit on a new flat. Miss the electoral register? You could lose your voting rights for up to 12 months. Miss the window to switch your energy supplier? Your tariff just automatically resets to this wildly expensive standard rate at the new address, and that results in an average overpayment of £340 a year, just quietly draining your bank account.
But guys, the financial risks go even deeper into the invisible architecture of your financial life. If you just forget a direct debit tied to an old address or account, bam, it triggers a late payment marker. And just one of those markers can quietly ruin your credit file for years. Plus, duplicate council tax billing is incredibly common during that messy overlap of a move. It's notoriously hard to reverse, and missing those incorrect bills directly tanks your credit score. Meanwhile, like we just talked about, those energy tariffs are resetting to standard, expensive rates unless you actively jump in to stop it. It's like the entire system is set up to sneakily penalize you the second you drop just one of those 17 balls. Let's move to and see how this builds, because we desperately need a modern solution here. The status quo is just a punishing manual grind. 34-minute hold times, 14 hours of your life gone, endless repetitive forms, and all those severe penalty risks. But there is a completely frictionless approach that now exists through Saturn.io. We are talking 0 forms to fill out, smart email detection, automatic updates across the board.
It's a fundamental, absolute shift away from all that human burden straight into automated relief.
So how does a platform actually take over all this workload without you ever having to touch a single form? Well, it's a beautifully systematic and frankly deeply relieving process. Step 1. Setter.io connects securely to your email. Step 2. It uses smart detection to automatically recognize that you're moving. It actually picks up on the digital footprint of your flat hunt and your tenancy agreement. Step 3. It just automatically reaches out and updates every single account for you. Your government files like the DVLA and HMRC, your utilities, your banks, even your monthly subscriptions. It handles that entire fragmented web of 17 tasks completely in the background.
So, the crucial point is, the real impact of this automation comes down to an unbelievable return of your time, 14 hours. The average set-turn session hands back exactly 14 hours of your life. Just imagine getting 2 full working days back during the absolute most stressful week of your year. Instead of sitting on hold, listening to terrible waiting music while staring at a mountain of unopened boxes, you actually get to unpack, arrange your new home, and just breathe. Automation is stepping in precisely where the human friction is at its highest.
And you know, it's not just about the time, it's about hard, measurable cash. 340 pounds. That is the average annual savings found by simply avoiding those default, insanely expensive standard energy tariffs and stopping those overpayments you probably didn't even know you were losing. Because the system automatically ensures your accounts are transferred correctly and optimally, it slams the window shut on those sneaky automatic price hikes that utility companies really rely on when tenants change homes.
Which brings us to the core philosophy of the platform, captured perfectly in just one simple idea. Your move, our work. It literally completely eliminates the administrative burden of moving. The physical move, finding the flat, packing the boxes, handing over the keys, that's all your domain. But that invisible, highly penalized 14-hour admin nightmare that follows, that is completely outsourced to secure automation. It transforms a really high anxiety period into a perfectly seamless transition.
We've seen the data. We know those 17 tasks exist, we know they consume 14 hours of our time, and we know those 1,000-pound fines and massive credit score drops are real threats just waiting for a single mistake. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought for the next time you find yourself surrounded by a sea of cardboard boxes. Are you ready to let automation handle your 17 moving tasks? Why spend your first few weeks in a new home fighting with completely disconnected bureaucracies when the technology literally exists to do it all for you? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to reclaiming your time.